So good afternoon and welcome to our combined December, November State TA Day for our last State TA Day of 2023. Even though I don't know, I feel like it's kind of felt like 2024 for a while, but still, I feel like this year has gone by way fast, and it's been a crazy one. But it's nice to be here with all of you. Want to wish a happy Hanukkah to all who celebrate. The first night of Hanukkah is this evening, so happy Hanukkah to all those who celebrate, and you have a very festive holiday of lights. Definitely one of my favorite holidays. So cool. So yeah, we had one of our presenters caught the flu, speaking of flu season, so they were unable to join today. So our time is looking like we'll probably get out of here after an hour and a half versus 2 hours. So we will see. It looks like to kick us off here is my wonderful friend Connie Zabalaga. Did I get that right? Zabalaga.
Yep, it rolls out of the tongue.
It does. I know. I love it. Cool. And she's going to talk about we're in year 2, right, of the peer mentorship program.
Yeah, thank you so much, Charlie. So today I'm here to give you guys a little overview of the peer mentorship program. And the reason why is because I want you to spread the word with your networks. So I will start the 3rd cohort of this work in February. And I am so excited about that because we've had some changes, wonderful changes. And one of them is that the way to access this program now it's going to be through the PDIS. So the application for the program will be in the PDIS, and it will open tomorrow for those who wish to become mentors. So let me tell you about the program. Like Charlie said, my name is Connie Zabalaga, and I am the peer mentor training specialist here at CDEC. So with this program, we will train professionals to attain the necessary skills to form a relationship-based, reflective process between colleagues. We really want to support new teachers that are coming into the field, as well as teachers that are going to moving into other roles like director roles, so that they get that support that they need in the new roles. So the way the program structure works is like the mentors attend in week 1 the module meetings. For these group, for the cohort 3, what we're going to do is test and see if having 2 module meetings instead of a 3-hour meeting works best. So it will be 2 1 hour and a half meetings the first week. Then we have a mentor-mentee meeting the second week of the program, where they get to meet and they set goals, they plan next steps, and the mentors are applying what they're learning from their modules to this relationship they're forming with their mentees. Then we meet again for a community of practice, where the mentors get to meet each other, create community, learn about topics of interest, reflect about the relationship they're forming, the things that they need to learn more about. And then the last week of the month, they get to meet with their mentee again. So that's kind of the structure of the program and the mentoring cycle. So what will the mentees be focusing on during the time of the program, which is 4 months? We suggest that teachers that are new to the field start with the positive guidance sequence in the PDIS. and then for the first 3 months of the program, and then they get to choose what they want to move into, what other trainings are supporting their goals. And then for those who are in the director's track, we suggest the director's sequence. It hasn't been published in the PDIS yet. It's becoming published here pretty soon, but my program had early access. So for cohort 2, we were able to have those in the director's track to use that director sequence. So what are the mentors going to be learning? So here are all the topics of the modules and more. As things come up with the communities of practice, we really embed other topics of interest. So it really depends on each group. But we always touch on adult learning theory. The differences between supervising, mentoring, and the coaching piece. We talk about active listening, appreciative inquiry. It's embedded throughout the modules. Cultivating resilience, not only for themselves, but also to help their mentees cultivate their own resilience as they're going into their first years, being really, really excited about being in the field, and then going into that disappointment phase of, oh, this is harder than I thought it was going to be, into, oh, I love what I do again. So kind of cultivating that resilience so that we can get the teachers through that difficulty phase of noticing the challenges of the job. Goal setting, creating professional development plans, using the NAEYC Code of Ethics. We'll talk about conscious and unconscious bias, introduction to the reflective supervision cycle. So we will not be teaching them reflective supervision per se, but they will learn about the reflective supervision cycle and kind of a brushstroke of what that skill set looks like. Reflective practice, personality types, getting to know themselves and their mentees, types of stress management strategies, and also positive psychology so that they continue to build that resilience. So a really full 4 months for the mentors. And some of the supports that are created for these programs. So we have the program, we have 2 groups, one in English, one in Spanish. And we also provide a little stipend for substitutes or to pay overtime to the mentors and mentees if they're having to stay after hours to work or to meet. And then also the stipend for the mentors and the mentees, and that is just to cover the hours that they're spending in the program. So kind of an incentive to participate and to acknowledge that their time is valuable. So who can participate? So the next 2 cohorts will start in February, and then the next one, the 4th one, will start in June. So the recruitment for cohort 3 will begin December 4th. It's December 7th. So we're a bit behind there, but I'm already sending out the information for these. Like I said, the training on the PDIS for the application for the mentors will open tomorrow. And teachers that are working in licensed programs can participate, licensed family childcare home providers, center directors, assistant directors. One of the things that I like about the program is that we get applications from all over the state. All of the trainings are online via Zoom, so that way it's accessible to those who live outside of the Denver metro area. So what are the eligibility requirements to become a mentor? So one is to work at a licensed program and then have at least 3 years of experience in the position that they will be mentoring. So if they are let's say an infant teacher and they are mentoring another infant teacher, we wish that they've been in that role for at least 3 years. Have a mentee that works in their program. So to facilitate the meeting times and really create capacity within programs, we want to make sure that the mentors identify someone within their program that wishes to be mentored. For family childcare home providers, they should have either a mentee within their county or their city that they live. With family childcare home providers, it's a bit different. If they do not have an identified mentee, I will try to play matchmaker to find someone that's been newly licensed or someone within their city or county that wishes to be mentored. It is a bit difficult to find mentees for family childcare home providers. I'm going to be super honest, but I find it so valuable to have their perspective within the group of mentors that all of the cohorts so far, both of the first one and the second one, have had family childcare home providers be part of the group. So, and then support from their program's leadership. So this is to create capacity within programs, to create those supports. So we need to have the directors on board because it is a time commitment every single month to meet with their mentees and really work on these skill sets. So how can they apply to the program? So a flyer will go out to all licensed programs with the instructions to apply. The program dates will be included in the PDI's course listing. So if they look for in the learning bar, if they look for a mentor or peer mentors, the program will come up, and all of the dates of all of the communities of practice and the module meetings will be posted. And then at the time that they fill out that application, they should have a mentee identified. Like I said, if they're family childcare home providers and they don't have a mentee, they can still go ahead and apply and say, I will need a mentee within my city or county. And that is all that I have about the peer mentorship program. Do you guys have any questions? And I haven't looked at the chat. I know I saw a few things pop up.
I think you answered most of the chat questions.
Yes, there were only two, I think. Yeah. Any other questions? All right. So one of the things that I will say about the program is my English cohort is usually pretty full. My Spanish speaking cohort is usually smaller. So if you know teachers or providers that their first language is Spanish, that would be great mentors. Please send them my way. I really, really appreciate it.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you, Charlie.
Cool. Thanks, Connie. Any other questions for Connie? We love this program. Thank you for kicking it off and learning so much from the first year and continuing to make it amazing. We've heard nothing but great things about this program. And I think it's a different kind of way to learn the skills hands-on in the field. This is kind of the education that we dream about. So Awesome. All right. Gonna hand it over to the Queen of E&E. It's Emily Wengrovius. You ready to rock? You were born ready. Okay. Emily, if you're talking, you're muted.
I promise I hit unmute, y'all. I promise. It's good to see you, and I'm delighted to be here. Of course, Christy and I meet on Thursday mornings and go through applications. So this table's just a little bit out of date. We were able to make another couple awards. But you'll see here that we have about 2.8 remaining to allocate. And so we're basically approving applications on a rolling basis. I went through Lilith, I saw you clap, so that's why I said your name. Christy and I went through all of the ones that we've heard from councils about and from licensing specialists about, and just did a quick look through to see if there's any that we still, like there was one where we were still waiting to hear if the provider had applied to change her license, because that was all that we were waiting on, and did that follow up. So similarly with the total applications under review and receive status, we're starting to get some notifications from y'all that folks are wishing to withdraw. So please keep me posted on all of those updates, because it really helps us actually figure out how many are in the queue and how much, how far this 2.8 million will be able to go. I haven't done an in-depth analysis on how many of those 76 are family child care homes or centers. So I can't really tell you the breakdown of that, but you can see that there's about 6.5 million being requested. So I think with the longer spend down period that we have, we definitely will not run into the issue we ran into last time we had E&E. So I'm going to move to the next one. Really quick, wanted to remind you, I think almost everybody's gotten in their contracts for the amendments. Remember, this is the contracts that will update the spend down period of the GAE through December, it's through September really of 2026. And then also for some of you, it added some base funding. And we do have a handful of councils that did not utilize any of their base funding. And so those folks, some of them decided to cancel their contract, which will then reallocate their base funding when we do the final E&E contract amendment. And so once we get all of the GAE allocated, we can do that final round of contract amendments. So if you haven't gotten your contract budget or statement of work back to your QRIS coordinator, please do so we can get it in the queue. Our team in contracts is anticipating they'll start sending those out through DocuSign after the first of the year. So, okay, the next thing we have is I touched on this last time. If you have an awarded grant and you need to, update the budget, or there's a scope change of the projects or types of things that need to be funded, please don't hesitate to reach out to Christy and me and include your QRIS coordinator. We're happy to support that, talk it through, and figure out the next step, move the funds, those type of things. So I haven't really run into a situation where the change that I can recall that the change wasn't an appropriate change. So don't hesitate to have those conversations with us. You could come to office hours and talk about it. You can send an email. You can set some time on my calendar, whatever works for you. So there's that piece. And then the other piece is that our colleagues at Thrive are almost done with the Family Child Care Home Guidebook. And once we finalize the finalize, and I say that because I see it as a living document. Once we finalize that family child care home uh, guidebook for capital projects, a lot of that information is going to be similar for centers. There's going to be some changes. So obviously, just, when we're referring to licensing rules and things like that. So, but I wanted to let you know that our goal is to have Thrive come on next month for State TA Day and give you all an overview of what that guidebook looks like. We want to send the guidebooks out to the E&E office hours invite list. So if you're on that, if you have been invited to me to come to office hours, so it's on your calendar, you'll get that. If you want to receive this or want to be on the office hours invite list and or the guidebook review folks for comments and feedback, please don't hesitate to let me know. You can type that into the chat, send me an email. But I really thought it would be important for you all on the ground as the ones supporting the providers to have that feedback to make sure that this is a guide that provides enough information to be super helpful and not so weedy that you just get overwhelmed by it and put it down. So that's our goal. Alyssa, Christy, and I have looked at it, and we're really thrilled to be able to share it with you soon. So let me know if you want in on this fun. And the last thing is, as you all know, we're having office hours definitely through December. I'll probably extend it through January just because we're not fully done allocating the GAE, and we're going to, like I said, repurpose some of that to have also webinars or that kind of thing so that Thrive can go more in depth to those guidebooks, whereas here it would be a really high level overview. And so I want to put out there now, after we have fully allocated the GAE for E&E, if there is a reason or something that you would really like to see with these office hours, a way to repurpose them, a way to make sure there's still availability, any thoughts you have on continuing this after we've done the first kind of part of the E&E program, which is really getting those initial eligibility determinations out. Let me know, because I know we've built a really beautiful community there. I want to invite you to that community, and if there's a continued need to have the conversation and just the camaraderie and all of that, I want to know. So keep that in the back of your brain, or if something comes to you, let me know if you have an idea for that. I might also just keep it for, maybe once a week in case there's questions around capital expenses or anything like that that might come up as you're looking into spend down. So yeah, that's my really short update for this week. One of the things I'm also going to work on is for the applications that are on hold or under review that don't end up being awarded funds, sending out an email from me letting those folks know why, where we're at, and all of that piece. So I'll be sure to CC you all on those emails once we're at that point. And I don't have a sense of when we'll be at that point, just because we are approving these on a rolling basis, and that can sometimes feel like it speeds up. And then I know that with the holidays coming up, people will be on leave and things like that, visiting family and friends, or taking some time to hang out with their family and friends. And so I expect, at the end of December, beginning of January, that there'll be a bit of a lull, and then we'll kick back up again, probably around MLK. I do plan on being out of the office the week of New Year's. I will be on full-time mom duty, so I don't know which is harder, being doing the evening work or being with the kids. But I can tell you that doing this program, the biggest joy I have is working with all of you and just continuing to be able to support the communities across the state. So that's it for me today. Let me know if you have any questions. And I look forward to maybe seeing you at office hours or with a calendar that you'll show up on my calendar, or both. Why stop at one, you know?
Thanks, Emily. Are there any questions? We are a quiet bunch today. You got that December feeling. Howard has decided to join us, so there's some good news. All right. Elaine, I just saw you at our last call. Are you on?
Yes.
Cool. I'm so excited for your spiel.
Yeah, let me share my screen. Hi everyone. My name is Elaine Maskus, and I am the PDIS manager for the department. So for anyone who was at our last state TA day, Jen McDonald gave a little introduction to some work we're doing with the PDIS. It's kind of part 2 of that. And so we are working to improve the PDIS and make it a better experience for everyone. And so we're doing a big kind of revamp of the user interface to try and improve the user experience. So to give a little bit of context and background, so what are we doing? We are doing an updated PDIS user interface, and that is going live in February of next year. And the goal here is an improved and simplified user experience for the PDIS that builds on the system's strengths while improving the experience of professionals that use the PDIS and really trying to make it easier and faster for professionals to find what they're looking for when they need it. So we know that the PDIS has a lot of pain points and can be a barrier for some people. So we're really hoping that this makes it a lot easier and gets rid of a lot of those pain points. So there are 3 main things that we are updating with this redesign. The first one is the menu. So we've taken a good look at everything that exists in the PDIS and reorganized it into a cleaner menu with information that's easier to find. We also have a new PDIS home dashboard that clearly lays out the credentials, qualifications, and employment status, as well as some information on training that's required by roles. And then the third main area that we're updating is the learner home and making it easier to find trainings, especially those required trainings. So high level, that's what we are focusing on. To give you a look at the timeline, so where we are right now in December, the development is wrapping up for this work in our sandbox environment. So that is our testing area. So I'm going to walk you through a demo of what the new user interface looks like today. And so we are finishing up building it out this month so that over the next 2 months, we can do demos and trainings for stakeholders. And we're also working to update all of the how-to guides and user resources so that when we do go live in February, everything will be available to help people navigate the new user interface and get through all of this on their own. So people will have the support that hopefully they need to use this new user interface. And then ongoing from the launch and forward, we're going to continue to have help sessions and TA sessions, as well as tailored support for any groups, and continue to improve the PDIS to make it an even better experience and better support and resource for the workforce. So I'm going to just jump into this demo, and we're going to focus on the new menu and home dashboard. So here is a screenshot of what it looks like, but I'll just jump into the demo, and I'm going to try to go through it all and then save questions for the end, and it's going to be a lot. So I just want to give that context at first. And this is why we're rolling it out over a couple of months, is because we want to make sure that people have time to soak it in and kind of get familiar with it. And that being said, here we go. So this is the new PDIS home dashboard. So I'm going to start with the menu. You'll see here, this is the current PDIS. So the menu right now is this little hamburger at the top, and you click it and the menu pops up, and you can click each of these to have other menus expand down. Now the menu is across the top here. So it's always present, and you can just hover over each of these to see all of the different menu items. So the first option here is credentials and qualifications, and this, you click it and it'll take you to the page that will show you all of your current applications, all of your approved credentials, approved qualifications, as well as expired and archived credentials and qualifications. And then if you want to start a new application, that's also on that page. So we kind of streamlined everything and put it together on one page so you can see all of that information together. If there's time at the end, I will show you what that looks like, but I want to make sure we have time to get through this dashboard first. There is a new learning menu. So this learner home will take you to the home page on the learning side of the PDIS. This also is going to have a new look. We're still wrapping up the development of that, so we won't click on it today and get into it, but that is coming and we will definitely show it to you all. The My Trainings menu, this is going to be like your transcript, so all of the trainings you've completed where you'll be able to get your certificates, as well as any trainings that have been assigned to you. Course catalog is all of the courses that are available in the PDIS. And then self-assessment, this is the same self-assessment that currently exists in the PDIS. Resources, this is a new menu. And we are pretty excited about this and hoping that it's going to make the PDIS a lot easier to navigate. So we've reorganized all of the content really into this resources menu. So anything that has to do with navigating the PDIS and just using the system will be found on this Navigating the PDIS page. Anything that's related to credentials and qualifications, so how to apply for one, as well as how they're scored, what you need to upload, what any of those processes look like, are going to be on this page. Any information related to learning and training is going to be on this page. Information about policies will be here. This is going to be a new page about programs and scholarships that are available to the workforce. And this, we're going to be partnering with other folks in our workforce division to keep this page up to date. And then our FAQ page and our help desk page. The help desk page will also be updated to have information on our ongoing help sessions and other resources available there. And then the My Employees page available for anyone who is a director or workforce manager. So again, this is if you have in your My Profile menu a My Employees page, you will see this here. Let me just bring over a different user. If you are not a director or a workforce manager, you won't see that menu option up at the top. But this will take you to the page to see your whole staff if that is access that you should have for your program. Popping over to the right here, the PDIS site loads as a default language in English, but you're able to change the entire site to Spanish right here. And then this My Account menu will show you kind of a high level. This will be your name, but this is a demo account, so the name is PDIS Demo. Your main job role and your primary employer will also pop up here, so it's a little summary of who you are in the workforce. And then what used to be on the My Profile page is broken out now, so you can easily access your education information, your employment information, your documents, your background check, and your profile settings, as well as sign out all from this My Account menu. So that is our new menu. And again, whatever page you're on is always going to be present at the top and always there. Okay, I'm just going to keep going, and so I apologize for how fast I'm talking, but hopefully there will be time for questions at the end. So jumping down into the dashboard itself. So you'll see your name up here at the top, and then we have built in a new notification system. So that's what these, it's Latin and kind of nonsense right now, but these are going to be a new system for us sending out notifications. So if there's a problem with the system, we'll add a notification. If there's an upcoming deadline coming up for any kind of submission, we'll send out a notification to everyone. But also, if you submit an application and it gets awarded, you'll get a notification at the top of your page. If you submit an application and it's under a request for more information status, you'll get a notification at the top of your page. And then if you don't want to see these here, you just click the little X's and they'll go away. And if you click an X and you're like, oh wait, I did want to see that, you can just click this button here, and all of the notifications with their date stamp will be here in a table for you to see. So that is something we're excited about. And then down the line, we're going to build out the ability to send those notifications by group. So we'll be able to send notifications to just directors or to just people who live in a certain county or something like that. So that is a new feature that we're pretty excited about. Okay, now moving down to these 4 big numbers here. These are the same PD, these are number of PD hours in different categories, and they are the same as what is currently on your current PDIS dashboard right here, the snapshot of learning development. So it's the different numbers of PD hours that count for level 2 hours, social emotional training, ongoing PD for the last 12 months and the last 36 months. So again, it's the exact same data, it's just shown a little bit differently here. All right, so now getting into the meat of the dashboard. We're going to start on the right side here. We've been calling each of these little blocks a widget. So I'm going to start here with kind of the profile widget or the user information widget. So it starts here with your name, and then right next to it is your employment status. So if you are verified and active at your primary employer, you'll see this right here. If you have a different employment status, it'll show up right there and kind of encourage the user to get their employment information up to date. And then right below it will be your job role as well as your primary employer. If you have multiple job roles and multiple employers, they will show up here within a certain limit. Some people have 12 job roles selected for an employer, and so they won't all show up, but you'll be able to click see all job roles employment, and that will take you to your employment page where you'll be able to see all of that information. Right below it is your total verified experience hours. So any verified experience hours that you have saved to the PDIS will show up right here, broken out by age group. And then these dates right here are the dates of the verified experience hours that we have in the system. So this user has experience just for this year. Obviously, it's not realistic that they have 14,000 hours of experience in this calendar year, but this is just an example. So you could quickly know that, oh, I only have experience added for this year. Let me reach out to some previous employers and see if they can add experience in for me. And it's got some quick links to update your employment and view some more information. These will all take you to your employment page where you can see more details and update that information as you need to. Going down to our next widget, this is your My Goals. So if you add any goals for yourself, they'll show up right here, as well as some color indicated status information. And this is the same as what you hear, just a little bit cleaner and easier to see. And then right below this is our little tools widget with some quick links. So you can easily access the help desk page, the navigating the PDIS resources page, your My Documents page, and then the video demos that we have on YouTube will be the quick links here. We can always add more or change what's here. So if we get a lot of feedback from the field about something that would be easier to or better to have here, we can definitely make those changes. All right, going over to the left now. This My Employees widget is, again, only available for users that are directors or workforce managers. So if you see this profile, that's a standard PDIS user who doesn't have that kind of job role. They don't have a My Employees widget at the top of their home dashboard. But this director does. So if you are, let's say, a workforce manager for a school district, and you have a bunch of programs that you support, you'll be able to click this drop-down menu and select which program you want to work, you want to see the staff for. And then this table will populate with all of the staff for that program. You'll be able to see the name, their role, and so if someone has multiple roles, you'll see that they're all listed here. Their credential level, and we do have these credentials kind of in a tiered system. So the highest credential that someone holds is the early childhood teacher, followed by an ECPC. And we categorize them for what makes someone qualified to be in a classroom with a child. And then the date of their verified experience hours. And then you can click here to go to your My Employees page and add more information. If you get any new staff to your program that have added your center, but you still need to verify that they work at your center, you'll see this button right here to prompt you to verify employment for any new staff. And then for each of your staff, you'll also see these carrots here that will let you expand the table. And then you'll be able to see every credential and qualification that that staff member holds, when it expires, and what the status is of it. So we got a lot of feedback. Directors really want to help their staff stay up to date with their credentials and qualifications. And so this is what we are hoping will help with that. And let me pause right here and call on Charlie.
I'm just letting you know, even though it looks like you have until 1:50 because we had our canceled presenter, don't rush through or anything. You have some extra time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll have time for questions at the end too.
Okay, amazing.
Yes. I just didn't want you to like rush through or skip anything thinking that you were in a crunch.
Okay, then I won't skip anything. Yeah, I've been seeing lots of questions coming through, and I see that Jen is answering some of them. So we'll get to the questions. That's great to know. Thank you, Charlie. So you'll be able to see all of the credentials and qualifications that each staff member holds, when they expire, and the status. And we have these color flags so you can see that this person's childcare health consultant application is under a request for information status, so that this staff member might need some support getting the right documentation, or that this early childhood teacher qualification is actually expiring next week. So the director might want to help out to get this person's credential and qualification up to date, or help them get their new application submitted. Additionally, you can see all of your staff members' verified experience hours for each age group and the dates that those are put in the system. So you could see, this is actually very recently up to date, but if this were November 29th, 2022, for example, you could say, oh, I haven't added experience for the past year. Let me go in and add experience hours for this most recent year for my staff. And so you can do this for every staff member. It pops out and it'll show you everything. And actually, so this PDIS user demo account staff member is the account that I have open right here. Sorry, before I get to that step, if you want to go to your My Employees page, you can quickly do that by clicking this button, and that will show any staff that are no longer active at your program. So you can see more details and more information. Okay. Going on to our next widget is the credentials and qualifications widget. And so this shows you all of your active credentials and qualifications, or anything that's been submitted and is still waiting to be reviewed. So this is just a quick glance. What credentials do I have? What status are they? So when do they expire? And what level are they, to give you just a quick snapshot of the statuses and all of the credentials and qualifications that you hold. And so this PDIS user staff member, you can see that they hold 4 different credentials and qualifications at these statuses. And if we were to go to this same user, so now I'm on that user's profile, in their credentials and qualifications widget, we see that they do hold these exact 4 credentials and qualifications with the same expiration dates, the same statuses. So the director is able to see the same information that the user is seeing, or that their staff member is seeing. You can click here to see any expired or archived applications, and then you can click here. That will take you to the page to start a new application. And then our last widget is this professional development widget. And this has the different training requirements broken out by provider type. So if you click the caret, it'll show you what the different courses are that are required for each of the different provider types. And then each of these are hyperlinks that will take you to that exact course. And then you can also click Go to My Learning either down here or up here, and that will take you to your learning home. And then last, we have a new footer, and this footer is going to be present on all of the pages. And it has our help desk information right here, as well as some links about CDEC, and then some of our new like policies that we've put together about how we are using and protecting your data within the PDIS. Okay, I know that was a lot, and I know a lot came through chat. So if we have some time, love to open it up for questions or feedback.
Yes, we definitely have some time.
Awesome.
I'm reading through the chat. It looks like there was a question about help sessions that Jen answered. If you want to just talk through that process one more time for how the help sessions will work.
Yes, so we are still we're still getting those scheduled. The help desk holds regular weekly help sessions on some of the standard topics that they've been holding them on. So for directors and getting applications in and things like that, we will be developing new help sessions that are really specific to the new user interface and getting comfortable with it and getting familiar with how the new system looks. We are hoping to get those scheduled next week, and then we'll be sending out information about that. Christina, that is a great question. I should let me finish answering what I'm saying right now. If you want a help session specific to your council or for a group that you're working with, send an email to the help desk and we can work on getting that scheduled. We want to be as responsive and supportive as possible. Christina, to answer your question, we actually do have a lot of other new enhancements that we're working on. And so one of these is that we are expanding the employment types that will be available for people to select when they are adding a new employer in the PDIS. And so I think this page is ready. So when you are on your employment page and you are adding a new employer, you'll be able to actually, this is ready because they're building it right now. You'll be able to select what employment type you have. So school-based provider, home-based provider, consultative support such as an ECC or LCO staff, If you're a family or home support staff, school-aged or day camp, resident camp, or other. And then once you select this, so if you're a home-based care provider, then the job roles will populate. And these job roles will be specific to the type of employment type you've selected. So now we have family, friend, and neighbor as an option here. But if you were to select that you're a school or center-based care provider, then the job types would change. So now it's like administrator, director, early childhood teacher, and job roles that are more tailored to being a school or center-based care provider. Whereas if you select consultative support, ECC, or LCO staff, the job roles change to job roles that align with those employment types. So this is going to go live around the same time. We're still, I don't have the timelines at the top of my head, but yes, there will be an FFN option as well as many other options. Lisa, that is a good question. We did update the FFCH options. So there are 5 different options now. And now that I'm seeing them, I realize you can't read them all, and that is not great. So there are 5 different types of licensed family care home job roles that align with the different license types. But if it looks, so these are the different options for FCCH provider. If it looks like something is missing, send me a chat or an email and we'll get it added in. Okay, great. Yes, Christina, that's another thing that we will be adding. So it won't be ready at go live, but it will with the UI UX go live, but it's something that we'll be adding at some point next year. All right. Well, we're going to continue with our communications and continue to send out resources about these updates, but we're excited about it, and we hope that it's going to be really helpful for the field, and we're excited that you all are excited. So thanks for your time today.
Thank you so much, Elaine. We love to see PDISs glow up. It really looks amazing, and it's cool to see all the feedback that I know I've been receiving from councils and from coaches and from providers. Everything has been considered, and there's improvements to anything that I've ever been asked, like, can we get an improvement to this? It looks like the needs were addressed, and so we're really excited. And just a reminder, transitions take time and education, and we all want to remain positive about the changes and about the transition that's going to take to get everybody used to the new PDIS. But in the long run, this is going to be an amazing, it's an amazing transition to take. Cool. So we just have a few updates on our end. And I think I'm happy to speak to them, team, but if anyone wants to jump in, they can. And actually, Alyssa, are you on?
Yes, I am. I can go ahead and start.
Yeah, is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to come on to remind you all that the employer-based child care design lab application is open until January 9th. The EPIC team was on last month sharing a little bit more about this opportunity, but the design lab is an 8-session interactive lab that helps potential employer-based childcare sites really build out a strong plan for an employer-based child care center, including the planning and feasibility phase, implementation, working through some of the financials, and the ongoing operation costs of an employer-based child care center. So I will send in the chat with the link to where you can apply. Oh, thanks, Charlie. Already on it. Yes. And
Yeah.
this has the application, all of the application questions that you will find so that you can preview those before starting the application. We just had our applicant webinar yesterday, and so you should be able to view the recording from that and share that with potential sites as well, and then an informational PDF. But let me know if you have any questions in the chat, and I will answer those as we move forward.
Cool. Yeah, it looks like there was a quick website request, and this is the one to go to, and this is where you'll find the application too. All right. So then just a couple quick updates. First off, I wanted to mention if you are planning, if your council needs to make any amendments, so that's moving more than 10% of the total budget for any funding stream, or if you're moving line items, things like that, we need to have those in really quickly. Yes, Julia, what's up?
My question on that was just, is that the current FY24 budget, not the FY25? And is that not E&E, or is it I'm just, Pat had me on because we're trying to figure out exactly what you want by mid-February. Okay.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
So our E&E based funding is a little different than our other funding streams because we are already doing the amendment to extend it, through the first 3 months of 2025. So amendments on E&E, I mean, our finance department hasn't processed the amendments that have been submitted to extend E&E yet. So if you do have any E&E amendments, I highly recommend getting those in before we work on the extension amendments. If you have any other changes to the budget, get those in as soon as possible, so that way you won't have to do a second amendment after they do this amendment to extend the deadline. And then in terms of other budgets, that's what we're talking about mainly is CSQI-based funding, systems building, CCR&R, and Family Child Care Navigator funding. That's our just regular fiscal year 23-24 contracts, and those are the amendments that our accounting department has requested by December 14th. We're able to give some wiggle room there through like January, but we're really trying to stick to that December 15th deadline. Yes, I was going to say, connect with your QRIS coordinator if you're wondering about specific amendments. I guess just a little background, the way we submit amendments has changed drastically. We used to submit them just through an email, and now we have a new submission database where we go through to submit amendments. And so while we're working through that adjustment here at CDEC, it's taking a little bit longer to process amendments. So that's why we're asking to really stick to these deadlines to make sure that everything can get processed in time. And as Karen kind of explained more thoroughly, our contracts team got behind with the stimulus amendments because we had to make sure that those were all spent down by their deadline. So in the next few weeks, we should see a better turnaround. Any other questions on that? And as always, feel free to connect with Lilith, Michelle, or I if you have specific, budgetary questions.
This is Lisa. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Lisa.
I just want to make sure I heard it because this feels different than years before, and I understand your new department, so it will be different. Did you say any amendments for any council work is due a week from today?
That is the deadline that finance has given us, that they say has been the deadline historically. And I guess
We've done amendments. We usually do our budget amendments in January.
Yes.
Here. So to know that it's due in a week is good to know. Thanks.
Yes, I mean, like I said, there is some flexibility. That's the deadline that finance has given us. But I think due to the nature of our work and just kind of the multitude of systems that the councils are juggling, and I feel like it really sometimes takes until January to figure out how the rest of the spending is going to go that year. So we're definitely allowing some wiggle room. I don't want you to like stay up, until midnight every night this week trying to work on your amendment, but just as quickly as possible, be wonderful. Any other questions in regard to that?
Charlie, I think you should introduce your dog.
Yeah, this is Howard, and he is very sleepy today. Lots
Sorry.
He had
I have one more quick question.
What's up?
So amendments is one thing. Revisions. Are there new deadlines on revisions?
No, revisions can be ongoing and just as needed. Should we ask for extensions via email? Yeah, I would work with Lilith, Jessica, and then kind of talk through the issues that you're having with her, and we can work with our finance team for those specific needs. Are there different people at finance working on the amendments for LCO? Yes, there are. They have a different team over there. And I think the differences in time frame might also have to do with the differences in the timeline of the amendment, when the amendment is good, or when the contract is good for. I think that would probably explain some of that, but I'm not sure. I don't know specifics about the LCO amendments or LCO budgets. Any other questions here? And again, if please work with us, work with your QRS coordinator, and we're happy to navigate some of these issues. Yeah, Julia, I would get in touch with Michelle, and she can follow up with our finance team. Is there any discussion about having all budget? Yes, and I think that is why the on-base system. Sorry, I didn't finish reading the question. For those of you who can't see, is there any discussion about having all budgets go through one finance system? And yes, the answer is yes. That's why they created this standardized on-base invoice submission system, or budget submission system, contracting system. So that way we can really try to standardize the way that we do contracts at CDEC. All right, and then I think finally, this is just a real quick update. So I'm going to just share my screen real quick. We added some new guidance for the right one. For the indicator relating to strengthening families framework. Let me zoom in a little bit more. And basically, the only thing we added here is that programs have been submitting the self-assessment, but they haven't been putting their name or the date on the self-assessment that they submit. It's just a self-assessment. So in order to receive credit, we need to have the name of the program and the date completed on the self-assessment. It can be hand entered or however you want to do it. But because the self-assessment that's pulled from the link doesn't have that information, we are just urging programs to make sure to add that information to the self-assessment when they submit it for evidence. And we added a note on the evidence document. And so, which just FYI, this is kind of a random tidbit, but I know we've been talking for a while about getting like a printable version of this evidence document out. And this kind of speaks to why that's been a challenge, because we have had to add some clarifying language and had to adjust some indicators. And so because this is one of those living, breathing documents, we want to make sure that programs only have access to the ones that are the most up to date. So that's why we've been hesitant to make this printable, because it is one of those living, breathing documents. And I will put the link in here. It's on the Colorado Shines website under program resources. But the link I'm putting in the chat is the most up-to-date one. And I'll make sure to put a link on the agenda as well. Any questions on that? QRIS team, are there any other updates anyone would like to relay?
I think you covered it pretty well, Charlie.
Cool. Don't worry, we'll have plenty more next month. We do have one more presenter. Brenda, are you on?
I am.
Okay, awesome.
We're gonna make it quick, Charlie. No worries, okay?
No problem. We're way ahead of time, so.
Okay. So I think Joy is here as well. Joy is part of the team. So we just have a team update on the work that we do with the Early Childhood Professional Credential. And we wanted to make sure we're communicating things to everybody. So I'm Brenda Mays, I'm the ECPC manager, and Joy is here as well. Joy Smith is the ECPC specialist. So we have one slide for you. It's this, okay? So here's the one slide. Joy, do you want to start?
Sure.
Okay.
So the ECPC team, I'm going to just read off the reports status. So the reports for the following work status. 1, the Early Childhood Professional Credential application. The current date of review is 11/30/2023. And there is a 7-day turnaround right now. For external training submissions, the current data review is November 30th, and there's also a 7-day turnaround there. And for the help desk tickets, current data review is 12/6/2023, and there's a 24-hour turnaround. And there are some important updates that Brenda would like to share as well.
Yes. So when you look at that turnaround, we're very, very proud of that. I want to mention one thing. So I used to be a team of one, and then we brought Joy on, and Joy is now managing a contract vendor for the review of credentials. That contract vendor is overseen by Joy, and they work with our standard operating procedure and control documents and communication. So it is completely overseen. They are audited. We run random sample analysis on them. We run attribute agreement analysis to make sure the work is being done well. So I want you to know that, and that Joy has really kicked that into gear for us. On the left-hand side of the slide, I just want to make sure that you are in tune, or that folks that may reach out to you are in tune with the fact of these current dates of review. Because if you have someone saying they haven't answered me, they haven't completed my credential application, I sent an email, I sent a phone call, they haven't reviewed my external training, we have reports running to make sure that we're catching all of that. And as you can see, the oldest thing we have in any of these categories is November 30th. Okay. So if that is getting reported to you, please check with the individual to make sure they've actually submitted the application. Sometimes applications are created and not submitted. So we want to make sure they push that through to our side so we can take a look at it. The same thing is true of the external trainings, okay? So external trainings, you have the option to upload them, but we're not going to be able to see them and review them until they go back to that active transcript and hit mark complete. Then it shows up in our report as pending completion approval, and we can take care of it. Okay, so that marked complete for the external training is super important. And if they're saying, hey, I've been trying to get in touch with them and they haven't answered me, Well, we're working on yesterday's tickets. So if we didn't answer them, we need to make sure that we do and that they're using the correct address for that, which is on screen. And that's CDEC _ pdshelp@state.co.us. Okay. Oh, Stephanie, I knew someone was going to ask a question. So here's the deal. We have a dashboard where we track applications and the date they were submitted. The December 1st date was put into place because of last year's experience and the fact that we received over 1,500 applications within 6 hours before the midnight deadline, okay? So we wanted to make sure that we threw that out there. However, it makes sense that if we are actually on 11/30, we continue to move forward with applications. Our focus will be to make sure that everything submitted before December 1st is reviewed through an RMA status and either awarded or unapproved before making sure that everything after that date is taken care of. So keep in mind that the way that we're doing that is we keep all this track of all these other applications that we reviewed, and we continue to work through a chronological queue. Okay? So does that make sense, Steph? Okay. Yes, absolutely, Karen. If someone has not submitted an application, you should submit an application, but keep in mind, if you have an active credential, you don't need to. The only people that really should be concerned are those that don't have an active credential, those that have a level 1 that could possibly increase the credential level, and in effect, their their tax credit refund. So no credential, level 1, level 2, because levels 3 through 6 are getting the same tax credit. Joy, did I get everything? Did we get everything?
Yes.
Okay. We were just so excited to share this with you. Basically, we're so happy to help however we can. We're trying to support as best as we can the early childhood professionals. I have to tell you, I'm just going to throw out there, project management has become my new gig, and Joy and I work this project management together very methodically, and I'm just going to plug Smartsheets, the DMAIC process, standard operating procedures, standard communication to the field, and just making sure that we're meeting with everybody all the time to make sure that everybody's on the same page. And it's working. So thank you for your patience with us while we got to this point. We continue to be grateful for everything you do in the field to support early childhood professionals, those children and their families. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brenda. Awesome. 'Tis the season for ECPC tax credits. So yes, please have folks apply early and no, well, not often, just early. And Joy, we really appreciate you hopping on board and jumping right in and really getting this stuff done. It's really a world of difference from where we were last year, and it's cool to see how much progress we've made. Cool. Let's see. Any last minute questions, comments, anything like that? All right. Well, I guess with that, I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season, a wonderful new year. It really is crazy that this is our last ATA day of 2023. Please, look back on this year at all the things that you have accomplished for your council, for the programs that you work with, for the people that you work with, for the kids that are benefiting from all this work, and really how much good work has been done for the community and for the state of Colorado. I don't think people understand, without this group of people, I don't think this state would function. And I know that sounds a little hyperbolic, but honestly, it's not, because childcare is really the heart of these communities, of all of our communities, and we are the ones getting the work done to make sure that children are taken care of and families are taken care of. So I appreciate all of you. Have a wonderful rest of 2023, and I will see you next year.